Fine, I'll do it myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first official episode of Fine, I'll Do It Myself, where today we will be tackling the newest member of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man, No Way Home. I am Mike, and with me is Jason. Hello, Jason.
Hello.
We're here to talk about Spider-Man, No Way Home.
It's S tier. All right, let's go. We're done.
S tier, done episode. No. We're gonna get a little more
Time to go
details on
home.
that. We're gonna talk about it. We're not gonna recap it per se, but if you're not sure what this podcast is, it's a little weird because you're on Patreon and you know about it because you've watched the tier list episode already. But basically, we're gonna rewatch all these movies and then we're gonna re-tier list them based on where we think they belong. I don't know that Spider-Man's gonna move very much. We ranked Spider-Man, Jason, third in S tier behind Avengers Endgame and Avengers
overall.
Infinity War. Finally, for movies, we have Spider-Man No Way Home, which is a very recent development, but this is also an S-tier movie. Jason.
Yeah, I would say it's an S tier movie as well.
And I think it's up here with the
Infinity
Wars.
Shit.
Because, like we described with Infinity War and Endgame, they were big events. Spider-Man No Way Home was almost as big an event as these two movies, to me.
Yeah.
And the way they tied things into different Spider-Mans.
A lot happened in one fucking movie, dude.
I don't think it's moving much. If anything, it will move forward.
I mean, for right now, it's going to be the only thing on
It's
there.
going to be the only one. It's going to be the only one.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors. From every universe. Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap. You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way!
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe. You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
happening?
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
We just saw it again for the second time in theaters.
Literally like an hour ago.
Yep, literally just got out of the theater. And it holds up after a second viewing, after a couple weeks.
I agree.
I think it's a great movie. I think the hype is warranted.
Yeah.
I think the box office draw is warranted.
For sure.
I just realized I didn't pull up the Rotten Tomatoes.
You motherfucker. Okay. One thing that I wanted to say right away that we talked about a little bit when we were out to eat after we saw the movie was that this one felt like probably the biggest nerd cultural event since like Endgame.
Since Endgame, yeah.
Infinity War. Like, you just see everyone with like Spider-Man shit around everywhere. Nerds were winning, dude. We were eating good.
Nerds are winning right now. It's it's the only Marvel movie besides maybe the original Avengers.
Yeah.
Besides maybe that feels like a cultural event as opposed to just a movie.
Yeah.
It got a 93% on the tomato meter, certified fresh, and a 98% of the audience score.
Yeah.
Pretty insane.
That's insane, yeah.
I guess some movies get 100%. I don't know. Whatever. 93 is really good. And probably, the 98 is probably where I sit more.
Especially because I feel like Marvel movies, because there's been so many, I feel like kind of get a bad rap as well. Like, oh, here's another fucking superhero movie. Whoop-de-fucking-do for some people, right? So I think I can get a bad rap from some people. But we fucking loved it.
We loved it. Overall thoughts on the movie, obviously there's spoilers here. I don't know why I need to say this. If you haven't seen this movie, go away and come back. Like
go watch it.
Go watch it. It's really good.
We're saying it's on our fucking first episode. We said it's the third best one. Period.
Right. So go away and watch and come back. The movie includes a ton of cameos, a ton of Easter eggs, callbacks to previous Spider-Man movies, and it's done so well. None of it is like when watching the movie for the first time. Like, I knew exactly when the Spider-Men were going to show up. Right. Like, it's not like groundbreaking or like it doesn't like twist and turn you, but man, when it happens, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's
well done. Like
it's an emotional movie. It handles some things very well that we'll get into. But I overall don't know that we could ask for a better third Spider-Man movie in this series. I just think they nailed that. I have very minimal complaints about it. Do you have any criticisms for the movie overall?
Not like hugely. There's some stuff where it's like, okay, why wouldn't they just do this type thing?
Like some logic stuff.
Yeah, some logic stuff is a bit weird. Like I'll just obviously anyone who fucking hasn't seen it is gone by now.
Right.
But like he literally had it to the point where he was gonna get a chance at MIT with his friends. And then, like, this shit happens where, okay, now there's fucking villains and shit here, and that's part of why they got another shot, right?
Right.
So it's like good ending for them, but it also felt like it was one of those things where you're like, bro, you have like another shot at MIT, like you're just trying to help with like fixing it. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I was like, okay, like he already has what he wants type thing. I get that like May like pressures him into like doing the right thing for them as well, even the bad guys. But I remember the first time, like, because I've seen it twice now, it makes more sense now, but especially first time watching it, I was like, bro, like, without, like, the magic, he already has, like, this, like, another shot at it. Like, it just feels very, like...
right, but the magic was already done at that point.
Right,
and he felt like he had to fix his mistake, and then Aunt May, using the morality, pushed him into fixing more than his mistake, trying to fix everybody's mistakes, which I think that's a pretty common thing for Spider-Man. Like,
yeah,
trying to do more than he needs to, and then therefore causing more trouble for himself in his personal life. Like, that's kind of the crux of Spider-Man, right? I agree that, you know, if cooler heads had prevailed, he probably would have just went with Doctor Strange's deal. Part of the problem with me, though, part of the problem with this movie and just something with MCU in general is Doctor Strange is incredibly ineffective at everything he does. And I'm hoping multiverse
Compared to like other versions of Doctor Strange, I would agree.
I'm hoping Multiverse of Madness like helps him out a little bit because he has been just taking L after L.
He's getting bodied by Spider-Man, bro.
Right, and it makes sense to me how he got bodied by him, but he's just.
But like
He
in his
needs-
own
he needs
element,
his next
he gets
movie,
bodied.
definitely.
He needs to get powered up, bro.
He needs his own movie, and I'm glad that's the next movie coming because he really needs it. He needs some help. He hasn't felt like a important character to me. Even in Endgame and Infinity War, he was struggling.
I don't know. Like when he had a time stone, I was like, okay, he's fucking juiced. And then once he lost the time stone, I'm like, yo, he's fucking nerfed as fuck. What the fuck?
So like basically my point was though, I'm sitting there and Doctor Strange telling him, hey, these guys, like, this is their fate. This is what needs to happen. But I'm with Peter and I'm like, this doesn't sound right. But like it is right.
Yeah,
But
it doesn't
because
sound
it's
right.
Doctor Strange saying it, I'm
He
like,
doesn't
yo, this
say it in a
sound
good
right.
way at all.
Right.
He's very flustered.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll figure out what's going on with him in the next movie. My only criticism.
Why they gotta hurt me so bad?
Right. Why they gotta hurt my feelings? No, there wasn't enough high school shit in the movie. No, I'm just kidding. My criticism is actually the high school moments. I think the teacher and the principal and the coach, they were fine in the first two Spider-Man movies. In this movie, the small part they're in it, I hate them.
I like the history teacher still.
Like you give these comedic actors and comedians, you know, obviously Hannibal Buress is a pretty big deal as a comedian, and you give them this time to like cook, so to speak, to do something funny, and that's what they come up with.
Yeah,
it's bad. Like the gym teacher Hannibal Buress being like, "Oh, you're a murderer." Like that's terrible. Like,
I know what you did.
It's like this is not. It was supposed to be played off as funny, and it did not come off as funny. Like I was just like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Why'd they even include these guys in this movie? I that part I was over. Also, there's some logic stuff where it's like Peter would definitely not go back to that school.
Fuck no.
There's no way in hell he'd go back.
They
to that
wouldn't
school.
let him.
No. So, but we're suspending our belief for the movie. I understand that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I think the movie's really well done. I think the villains are great. Even
my other criticism that we talked about this right after too. I was like, why the fuck does he like make another suit? Like, I get that.
at the end
I
of the
get
movie.
it's like to like it's fan service,
right.
but like the only thing that we could come up with is that because it's like integrated with like Stark Tech stuff, even though the Stark Tech stuff is offline, maybe
It
it's
doesn't
like-
recognize him.
it doesn't
because
recognize him.
No one knows who Peter Parker.
He's locked out type thing of the techie suit stuff.
Right.
But to me, it's like, oh, so he couldn't just fucking disassemble it and remake it? Like, I feel like he could. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, in like the span of one day, like fixes all these fucking villains. Like, I think he could figure out his own fucking suit.
Yeah, you'd think so. And who knows? Maybe that suit has more technology in it, but they just showed the sewing machine. You know, because you got to sew stuff still. Like,
Yeah.
Unless it's nanotech, I guess you don't have to. But anyway, these are nitpicks that we.
Yeah,
have.
yeah. Like, it's hard to come up with some shit to not like about this movie.
So we have some different categories we're gonna run this through, and this is a part of the show that's probably gonna evolve as we go. We're gonna decide what we like, what we don't like. We're kind of workshopping this on the fly. So if you don't like a segment or you think there's a category that we should go through, let us know.
Yeah.
But our first one we're gonna go into is trivia stolen from IMDb.
Yeah.
Basically, I scoured the
Yoink.
IMDb trivia page and I yoinked some stuff that I thought was interesting. The first one is as so. Earlier drafts of the film were very much different than the finished product. The script primarily focused on Peter's galactic adventures with a character based on space, probably Skrulls or Captain Marvel, as hinted in the post-credits scene of Spider-Man Far From Home. However, that storyline was dropped in favor of setting up Secret Invasion, which is coming in 2022, and a completely new script was written after the new deal between Sony and Disney in 2019, focusing on the multiverse instead. Interesting.
Yeah, that is one thing that definitely feels like dropped. Like, you're telling me the fucking Skrull dude who's like faking as Nick Fury, like his job is to like keep an eye on him, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
He just stops keeping an eye on him, dude.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Especially when his fucking everyone knows who he is. Like, you think he would fucking show up, bro? Like, I get it's like in a period of a few days, but like this motherfucker can space travel, bro.
Right,
what
right.
the fuck?
I really love the inclusion of Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
in this movie.
It was well done.
I audibly yoed in the audience
Yeah.
both times I saw the movie, even though the second time I knew it was coming. However, it's a little convenient that, he's just like, yeah, charges are dropped against you. Like, I went back to a nitpick. I know we weren't exactly talking about this, but like, you think they do some like some shit where like Skrull Nick Fury shows up and like gets him cleared, right?
Yeah.
That makes more sense. But this is like the charges are dropped, so the Sokovia Accords don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So they're like, so he's still
remember
able to just
memeing
go
about
around
that.
being Spider-Man. It's like, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's convenient for the movie plot, and I get that.
Yeah.
But,
oh no, the Sokovia Accords are really fucking over Spider-Man right now.
right, exactly. It's like I don't really, unless like part of me on the second watch felt like we were meant to believe that he was a fugitive the whole time. Because I don't understand. Okay, he at one point in the movie he gets the villains together because he's gonna fix them, and he brings them to Happy's place, right?
Yeah.
And then Jameson gets a tip on where he is, so he and his cronies go get footage of him doing something wrong, right?
Yeah.
And then there are police cars there.
Yeah.
Why are there police cars there?
Well, because he says he called the police.
For what?
Because he's like, yo, so I know some shit's gonna happen. I'm gonna preempt it. He's a dirtbag, dude.
And the police just showed up because J. Jonah Jameson
He probably
said-
lied. Yeah.
I thought
And
it
then
was
some
meant to
shit happened,
believe
so they were like, yo, back up. The one thing that I was like, yo, I wonder if this ends up being anything. Is that there's like a there? I guess it depends on. It's still in New York, like Happy's place.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like the acronym for the like special SWAT dudes that pulled up didn't seem like it was anything New York related.
Mm.
It was like DOD something. I don't know, DODA or something like that.
Department of Defense ass.
Yeah. Avengers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude.
Who knows? Yeah. So sorry,
Some-
I
yeah.
jumped into nitpicks
Tangent.
again, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad they switched it up. I think maybe I'm alone, but I am not like into like scrolls.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like they're cool as like a side thing, right? Like, oh my god, this character that I thought was this person for X amount of time was actually a Skrull with Nick Fury. I think that's interesting, but we haven't seen that really come into anything except for in WandaVision, where it was like a fucking nobody was a Skrull. It was.
Right.
It wasn't like somebody like the fucking the police officer.
And maybe, and we'll get into this more when we tackle Captain Marvel, but maybe it's because my poor reception to that movie has something to do with the fact that I'm not into the Skrulls
Well,
if they've been shown in
even
the
even
Marvel
before any of
Cinematic
those
Universe.
movies came out, I was like, Skrulls are kind of lame.
Yeah.
Like
Super
in comic
Skrull is the
books
worst
and-
Marvel vs. Capcom 3 character.
Yeah,
Just saying.
yeah.
He sucks. I hate people that play Super Skrull. Anyway, another trivia that we pulled from IMDb. Willem Dafoe would only agree to reprise his role as the Green Goblin on the condition that he still be allowed to perform the majority of his own stunts like he did in Spider-Man in 2002.
He's like, yo, I want to be on the
What a
fucking
legend.
glider, dude.
What a legend, dude. Not only is that fucking awesome for a guy at his age to be fucking doing that, but he is not just scary for his demeanor, but he is just a brick fucking shithouse, dude. Like he's literally just pile driving teenage Spider-Man through floors of an apartment building, dude. Like it's nothing. And I know he the lore is that he has like a version of the super soldier serum, like it's the bad version of it that he made himself. But man, he's just like, there's this one move he does where he just catches Peter because Peter tries to like hurricane run him or something.
Yeah.
And he catches him and he just he kicks his leg out and just do through 4 floors, dude. And it's just so brutal. Like any fight scene he's in, there's like an enhanced level of just physicality to it that you don't see from the other characters because maybe they're more CGI or they have tentacles or whatever. But him and Spider-Man just all out brawl, and I'm fucking here for it.
Yeah. The only one, actually, there was one part of one of their like the final fight scene where I was like, this looks kind of scuffed, actually. The first time seeing it, I was like, yo!
Are you talking about the Canadian Destroyer?
Yeah. Where he essentially like does a flip over him with the webs and then brings him back and then over top of him, kind of like a pile driver type deal,
Yeah.
but with the web. And it just looked very slow and like wonky the second time having
See, I
seen
didn't feel
it.
that way, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. That was the only thing where I was like, this looks a little scuffed.
But either way, this is Willem Dafoe doing the majority of these stunts, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's insane. Like, good for him.
I just felt like they needed to maybe like speed it up, like slow down the beginning of it and then speed up the second part of it because it makes it feel, I'm going to say the F word, floaty.
Oh, no. Not floaty. All right, and then our final piece of IMDb trivia that we stole.
Stolen. Yoinked.
Both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield gave input on their characters' respective journeys after their previous on-screen appearances, with Maguire specifically requesting that very minimal backstory be given on what happened to Peter after Spider-Man 3. Which is interesting because, you know, Andrew Garfield has that line about how he stopped pulling his punches.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. But Peter Parker, the only line that not Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire gives that hints at anything that happened is that him and Mary Jane ended up working things out.
They figured it out.
They figured it out. Other than that, there's no hint at what he's done. Where I think with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, there's a lot more there. Even just in the way he acts, like you can tell that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man feels very alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The excitement with which he approaches these other two Spider-Men and having these brothers in arms is just a great acting job by Andrew Garfield. Because you can feel that loneliness that he has in the way he's so excited to interact with these guys. And I just think that's really cool. But Toby, not giving it up.
No. And I think that's cool because it's like, you know, it's one of those things where when things are left kind of open to interpretation, it has kind of a bit of a different magic to it. You know, like you can kind of connect the dots in any way you want. Whereas when like they're telling you what happened,
for sure,
they might, especially because it's like a lot of like childhood memories for a lot of people.
Definitely. All right, so that was trivia stolen from IMDb, sponsored by IMDb for some reason, somehow. Not really sponsored. We stole it.
Yeah, yoinked.
We're gonna talk about some bests of the movie here. Jason, what was the best action moment? And what I mean by that is not particular scene, but maybe like we were talking about fighting maneuvers earlier. What was the best like that kind of thing for you?
Best action moment for me, dude, it has to be the fucking Willem Dafoe apartment fight.
That fight in general is good. Particularly the like I said, where he kicks the leg out and just plows him through the ground.
One of the parts I really like is, you know, like he's obviously like taunting him the whole time. He throws him through the fucking wall, and then like instead of walking through the hole in the wall he just made that he could easily do, he kicks the door down next to it. He just fucking splinters into a million pieces. And he just starts taunting him and shit. Like that scene is just so fucking good.
Another cool moment that happens in that fight is Tom Holland had mentioned he wanted to use a integrate a move from the Spider-Man PS4 game into his repertoire, and he does a pull the web on the ground and kick him through the floor kind of thing, which is really cool. And he pulled that from the game. My favorite,
I recognized it as well. It's good.
My favorite, actually, I'm gonna go a different direction with this. When the Spider-Man, they huddle after things aren't going well, and they get together, and then they go to swing away, and then they're swinging together, and then Tom Holland Spider-Man swings them, he webs both of them and swings them forward, and then they all land on like the torch of the Statue of Liberty. That shit's sick.
Yeah,
I've watched that scene, like a gif of that scene over and over because it's so cool.
It's really well done.
Just the idea of him going, yeah, I'll web you guys, whatever. You know, like they don't talk about it, they just do it. Like it's almost like they instantly gain that like teamwork that they weren't having before. It's like it just
clicked.
A cool visual way of showing that.
Yeah.
One thing that they didn't show that I think would be cool. You meet up with Doctor Strange and he caught the lizard. He's bleeding. And I want to know what happened between Doctor Strange and the lizard.
I feel like he just ambushed him in the water.
But Doctor Strange came out on top.
Yeah. He's Doctor Strange.
I don't know, man.
That's fucking Lizard, bro.
I don't know. All right. So similar in that same vein, Jason. These categories might be too similar. I don't know. We'll find out. Biggest pop-off moment, meaning this is the moment that your theater was like, yo! Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were in the same theater.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally the biggest pop-off moment in our theater the first time was actually Daredevil.
I would say it was either that or a different scene, yeah.
Or it was Andrew Garfield showing up,
yeah.
right?
That's what I think is the biggest pop-off. Obviously, like, you know what's going to happen at that point, like, logically, so there was still a pop for Tobey Maguire's, but it was just like, yo!
Yeah. I think the Daredevil one was a big pop-off in our theater because I popped off so hard. Because I was like, yo!
There was definitely a pop.
Yeah.
There was definitely a big pop for him.
Because we saw it opening nights, you know, the real weirdos and trogs like us are there. And I was just
surprised
like,
there wasn't anyone actually like in a fucking full-blown suit there, you know?
oh yeah, I'm sure there was in other theaters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of those two are like the cameos are the biggest pop-offs.
They all went to like an IMAX
Actually,
theater.
you know what the actual answer is?
What?
The actual answer is Andrew Garfield Spider-Man saving MJ.
That one was a big pop, but I don't feel like it was that. Like, I feel like the room erupted when Andrew Garfield came on screen.
That's true.
Like, there was definitely a big pop off, and obviously, like, I think what also killed that one as far as it not being the biggest pop off for me is because it got immediately quiet because everyone's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
he's like gonna cry. They got
Right.
like really emotional really fast.
Right. No, I agree. I just think in hindsight, and I guess pop-off moment doesn't just mean like what the decibel level was when something happened, but like the moment that people talk about too. Like
that, I would say the MJ moment is the most
Right.
talked about.
I
moment.
think, you know, like our good friend Sean, shout out to Sean. That's his moment. Tara had never even seen any of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but she was like, when he saved MJ,
Yeah.
because he got to make up for the fact he didn't save Gwen. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, that, and then like my mom also spoke about that scene as well, and it's like, that's how you know that takes it, dude. That's
Yep.
the pop off moment.
that's the pop.
That's when you know, dude.
Yep.
When people haven't even seen the fucking movie they're from are like, oh my god,
He did it. And to be fair, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is a very likable guy.
yeah.
So you want to see him succeed, but
Right.
like that just makes it even better to me. What was your favorite? I mean, this movie's chock full of references to different Marvel things. What's your favorite Marvel like kind of Easter egg kind of thing? I think it'd be cheating to say Toby and Andrew being in it, right? Like that's kind of
It'd have to be like something more specific.
right.
That's a good one. That's a good question. There's
I-
so many.
Here's one I really like. I don't know if it's my favorite, but as Peter's walking into the school, there's a mural of different scientists painted on the wall, but it also includes MCU scientists like the guy that made the super soldier serum.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name.
Not off the top of my head.
And then it also has fuck, why can't I think of names right now? Hank Pym.
Oh, okay,
It has
okay,
Hank Pym. It has a couple other like Marvel scientists, Howard Stark,
okay.
and they're painted in the mural. And I think that's funny when they take like real world stuff and then go, oh, by the way, these guys are part of this history too. So I enjoyed that.
Einstein is canon.
Yeah, like Einstein is just as well known as Howard Stark. But like Howard Stark to me is more. I mean, obviously he didn't make Disney World, but he's more like of a Walt Disney kind of guy to me.
Yeah.
So, but you don't see Walt Disney painted on murals in schools. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I guess he's not exactly Walt Disney. I don't know.
No.
The only reason I say that is because they do that thing in Iron Man 2 when he does like the Walt Disney like, here's the world of tomorrow. Kind of thing.
Yeah. That definitely gives him Walt Disney vibes.
For sure.
I would say my favorite throwback, it's honestly like kind of simple and like it's not hidden at all, is just like the fabricator.
Oh yeah.
I really liked the fabricator because like he uses a fabricator in Far From Home, and it just makes it so, because we don't really see too much of like the techie side of this Peter Parker of Tom Holland's.
Right.
And so I did like being able to see that in this film. Him working on like the chip and like the inhibitor chip, and I don't know. I just really liked that, and it connecting to to Tony. It was a nice little throwback.
I also want to mention some of the villains saying some of their famous quotes from the movies they were previous in.
Yeah.
Like Octavius saying, "The power of the sun in the palm of my hand."
He says like 4
Yeah,
times.
he says it a lot. I'm something of a scientist myself. Like, there was no Godspeed Spider-Man, which
we were all waiting, dude.
dude,
That would
this
100%.
would be the perfect movie if at some point he said, "Godspeed, Spider-Man."
Yeah.
Like, just I love Godspeed Spider-Man. I think
Yeah.
it's one of the best lines ever.
I can just see his face.
Yeah. Any other ones that you wanna mention?
There's like so many that like it's like overwhelming. Where like I
Obviously
feel
Daredevil.
like
Like,
yeah.
him catching the brick is super fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad they didn't do a thing where, like, at the end, what? Daredevil's here too? Like that. I think
Yeah.
that would have been lame.
It was well done.
I think that would have been lame. I like that they just did a thing, and then because if they don't do the brick catching thing,
You're like, is he just
you're like, is
a
he
lawyer?
just a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Then he does the brick catch, and Spider-Man's like, "What the fuck?" And he just goes, "I'm a really good lawyer," and you're like, "Hell yeah, dude! Hell yeah, Matt Murdock! Fuck yeah!" So like that, I'm glad they did it that way. I'm glad it wasn't like the end game thing where it's like everybody shows up. You know what I mean? It was he wasn't involved. That's okay, but
Yeah.
you just reference him. But yeah, I think there's too many Easter eggs to name, but those are probably some of the best ones.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy the Spider-Mans interacting with their villains in a meaningful way, which it's kind of rough for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man because he didn't have he didn't have that big bad villain the way that
Oh yeah.
Toby's had Green Goblin.
Well, yeah, because he never actually fought his best friend.
Right.
Dr. Connors was like his like.
But the moment you turn the moment you turn Dr. Connors into a lizard is the moment like it's less about the interpersonal relationship and it's more about like this is a monster.
He wants to turn everyone into monsters.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what's so perfect about Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin is they look the same. They're still humanized, but they have these like unfortunate things about them that make them evil.
Yeah.
Where in Amazing Spider-Man 2, Jamie Foxx was just kind of like a blue light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
he was a victim.
And they give them the moment. Like they give them that moment that, a different villain would have got, which was nice. And he does the whole I thought you were black thing.
It was definitely a little weird that there wasn't a moment between Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe. Because like he stabs him and then Tom Holland Spider-Man cures him and then he's like, Peter, and then he's like, what have I done?
Right.
And then he sees his Peter Parker right next to him and isn't like, oh my God, like Peter, you're here.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's one thing that's weird about the movie is once he gets cured, Willem Dafoe just kind of sits there like a toddler that threw up for the rest of the movie.
like he pooed his pants.
And the thing is, like, I get it because the movies are supposed to be about a Tom Holland Spider-Man,
yeah.
right? But like, it would have been nice to have a Peter. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, literally just that would have been fine. It was a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird how he just. What have I done? Part of the thing about this movie is like Willem Dafoe cranks it up so hard on the villain factor
Yeah.
that he's not really redeemable at that point. So I think that's why they probably decided just to let him be. He's just not
even
redeemable.
just like a throwaway line, I think is fine.
Yeah, I agree, but I think
Yeah.
that's probably why they decided to do that because no one. It's like the Xehanort thing. No one wants to see him be redeemed.
No, yeah, and I can agree with that for sure. Like especially when you compare it that way,
Mhm.
but it's like if Xehanort fought like a fucking random like Final Fantasy character that was also named Sora, and then his Sora is finally there when he's like dying essentially,
Right.
and then not saying anything to him.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Especially when there's the scene where he's laying there and he looks at him like it's a little weird.
I agree it's weird, but I also understand why they did
Yeah,
it
I
that
get
way.
it for sure.
What's the most memeable moment, Jason?
The most memeable moment.
What line or what gif from this movie? And it's hard with this one because this movie's so new.
Yeah,
There could be a meme that comes out 10 years down the road, right?
for sure, for sure. I mean, everybody knows that I love fucking J. Jonah Jameson. So like anything he said. But if I had to choose like a specific like scene, I would say I really liked the like where Ned's like Peter, and they're all like, yeah, like
That's a good one.
Parker,
That's a
and
good
they're literally doing the Spider-Man like pointing
Right.
at each other thing.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
not
one.
as much Tom Holland's because he's like not really looking at them. He's just kind of like puts his fingers both to the left type
Right.
thing. But like if you look in that specific scene, both Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man are literally doing the meme. Like especially Andrew Garfield. So like, yo. So I love that scene.
I think one that
Most
has a
memeable.
lot of meme potential that we're gonna see down the road is Doctor Strange saying the line, "The multiverse is something that we know of which or I don't remember exactly what the line is, but we know frightening little," and just replacing multiverse with a bunch of different things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that's a memeable thing that could happen down the road.
Yeah.
I really like
I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. It's already a meme, dude.
Right. They re-memed the meme. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand is also a pretty common thing people reference a lot.
Yeah.
I like the I don't know if this is memeable, but I like the MJ fan
Yeah.
at
yeah.
the beginning. That seems memeable to me in some way.
Are you gonna have a
Are
spider
you gonna have
babies?
Spider babies.
We love you.
But this is gonna be a much easier category to tackle in movies that have been around a while.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like if we did the original Spider-Man right now, like obviously
There's
I'm
a
something of
million, yeah.
scientist myself, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
memes come and go, but they need time to percolate,
Yeah.
you know,
To brew.
to brew.
To age. Like fine wine.
The best scene of the movie, and we're gonna tackle this one a little differently, Jason. I'm gonna give you a set of scenes, and then if you want to nominate any I missed, and then we're gonna decide which one's the best.
Okay.
We're gonna treat this like a real award. So the first
First nominee.
First nominee I'd nominate the battle with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
When they go into the
That was something I was gonna reference.
the mirror dimension.
The mirror dimension. Yeah, like the very beginning of that, before they're even in the mirror dimension, where he pulls him out of his astral form.
Right.
That was what I was gonna mention as one of the best Marvel Easter eggs.
Oh yeah.
Because that's like in like comics, like Spider-Man has like cosmic fucking abilities like that, and then
Well, the
eventually,
spider sense is just like a thing. It's not something he controls, and he does it even
Yeah.
when he's not in his own form. Yeah.
right?
So that scene from when he steals the box from Strange till the end when he ties Strange up, I think that's a good nominee. That's a
Yeah.
very visually stunning scene. It takes the best parts of like the Doctor Strange movie and puts it into a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
And it actually, I haven't seen Homecoming in a long time, so I can't speak to this. But it actually reminds me in the middle of Far From Home, they have that scene where he's hallucinating with Mysterio's stuff, and it's a very similar scene. There's a lot of things that can't be explained.
oh
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like that.
like mirror stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's a cool parallel that's happened in both movies. So that scene, I'd like to nominate the Spidey sense scene, like you mentioned
In the
earlier.
apartment,
In the
yeah.
apartment where he just goes cold and you can see there's something wrong, and that
The
scene
audio kind of gets like faded out.
right every like it's almost like he took too much damage in a first person shooter.
Right.
They might as well put the red like border around.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Mason.
Yeah, exactly. Mission failed, boys. We'll get him next time.
next time.
But that scene up until obviously Aunt May's death, I think it's a long scene, but I think it counts as one.
Yeah,
big
that's
scene.
definitely one contained scene.
Obviously, when the Spideys show up, the scene in Ned's Lola's house
Yeah.
is good. Just because it's like they're there. And then the laboratory scene as well is funny, and it has a lot of good moments. And then obviously, I mean, the end of the fucking movie, I don't know where you cut that as a scene,
Yeah.
but I'd say you could take when they're curing all the guys until Goblin shows up as a scene, and then when Goblin shows up till the end as a scene. You know, like if you want to talk
Or
about a
like-
run of scenes.
I feel like there'd be one more break where it's like Goblin shows up and then like once he's going to go talk to Doctor Strange, that's when I would say it's a different scene.
Or even you could even say Goblin shows up and causes a thing, and then when he goes to fight Goblin on the shield, even that's almost a different scene. I'd say. It's loose category. So
Right.
those are the scenes I'd nominate. Did I miss a scene where you're like, hey, this is cool?
No, I feel like those are all pretty much
Those
all
are the
those
main
are the
bangers.
bangers.
Yeah, the main bangers of scenes. What do you think's the best one?
It's got to be the Spideys fighting together. To be
You think so?
honest, yeah.
So like you're sitting there and this.
the whole I'm Spider-Man 1, you're Spider-Man 2
Yeah.
type deal. Fucking Andrew Garfield. I love you guys, which I read. I'm not sure if it's 100% true that
I
it's
read that he
improved
that, yeah.
it. Them just like, yo, like help me out here, like,
Yeah.
and then but they're also having a help me out here moment. Like it just this kind of it makes so much sense. It feels like it was done with a lot of love, and it is just so fucking good.
I agree. The only scene to me that would push me on it, where I'm like, I love that fucking fight scene in the apartment.
Yeah,
Like, and from
it's that or that.
and
to me.
and not to be outdone, William Dafoe's monologue after he gets caught is incredible.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Where he's like, "These aren't curses,
yeah.
they're gifts," which like ties back into his movie. That was a huge part of the original Spider-Man movie is the gifts and curses. Like that's
Yeah.
something they reference a lot.
And like choosing, the world's forcing you to choose type thing.
Right. What I also love about that scene too is they kind of fake you out a little bit because Electro's obviously been cooperative, but you can tell he's up to
He's
some
on
more
edge.
devious stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to. He likes this new version of himself, and he's going with the thing. And you think he's the one that Peter's gonna like suss out from his spider sense, but it's actually Green Goblin. And I
Yeah.
like that. But then it gives Electro the like. It seems like he doesn't want to like rock the boat, so to speak. And then when he does, he's like, "Oh fuck it!" It takes off the thing. He's like, "Oh, all bets are off." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really love that scene. But you're right. The end scene with the Spideys is about as good as Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff gets.
Yeah.
It's very good. Who's your favorite? I guess supporting actor is the way we'd put it. They're not a lead necessarily. What's your favorite performance in this movie that isn't the like Tom Holland or William Dafoe? I guess because he's the main villain.
Yeah.
We should say he's the main villain, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's
He
gotta
he
be.
fights him by himself. Like
Right. He's got to be considered the main villain.
I would say he's the main villain 100%.
Okay.
He kills Aunt May.
Right. That's true. You know who I'm gonna give it to?
Who?
Zendaya.
Zendaya.
I think she obviously in the first movie she wasn't super involved, like he had a different love interest. The second movie he's trying to get her under his favor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this movie it's full-fledged her supporting Peter and Spider-Man, and I think she's a very just well fleshed out character, and I think Zendaya does a great job of being she's a likable MJ, which no offense to anybody, that has not been something that's happened a lot.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't think Kirsten Dunst is a very I'm not a big fan
she's
of
not
her.
very likable.
I don't like the video game MJ.
No, I hate her.
Gwen was good in
Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man, but she wasn't MJ.
Right.
So I she's a good MJ.
She's
like
my
her.
favorite MJ.
She's
right?
my favorite
Yeah.
MJ hands down, and I think she does a really nice job in this movie. And a lot of the sad scenes are done very well by her, where she stays true to her character, but is also obviously very sad.
Yeah.
Which I think to her is the worst thing in the world, to be showing emotion to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still believable and done well. So that I'd give it to. I mean, you could argue she's a lead in the movie.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't even thinking of her. Because I was like, I don't know. She seems like a
Yeah.
pretty main character.
I guess I want to just shout her out and say she's awesome.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I'd say for me, best supporting actor I would say Doc Ock.
Dude,
He has like a
Alfred
whole
Molina is really good in this movie.
He has a whole fucking character arc. It feels very much like he just picked up right where he left
for sure.
off.
I was just gonna say it's like
He actually fucking
that's
time
not
traveled.
Alfred Molina today. They pulled him from the
They
past and
literally
threw him in.
fucking time stoned his ass in.
Yep.
It literally feels like he was just there and he's fighting him. I don't know. It's just really well done. And then I love his redemption and everything. And then the switch up scene with Electro where he pulls the plug on Electro. Like, then the scene with him and Tobey Maguire. Like, I just really like it. I also like how he's just kind of like, when he's in the cell and he's just fucking mad that like he can't do anything with his fucking
We tire of your questions, boy.
like stuff like that.
Like,
It's
I
just-
love that.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, dude. I was so excited when I found out he was going to be in this movie because I really love Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. I think.
Plus his relationship with Green Goblin as well,
Yeah.
like having known Osborn, like
Right.
is cool as well.
If I can't count MJ, I'm going to give it to Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Garfield just does like,
All of the Andrew Garfield stands have come out of the woodwork after this
Yeah.
movie, dude.
and rightfully so.
yeah. He does a great job.
And Toby's great too, but I just think they give Andrew more to work with, and maybe that's by choice.
yeah. It definitely feels like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man has already gone through his whole character arc. Like
Right.
nothing in his life that happens is really gonna shake him too much. You know, like I feel like Tobey Maguire, like if he lost MJ, like at where his Spider-Man was at, like he would definitely be sad and he would definitely grieve, but he wouldn't be like morally shaken to his core.
He wouldn't start killing people,
right.
like
Whereas
Garfield.
Andrew Garfield's, he's literally still like reeling from it.
Well, that's such a brutal scene in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, man.
Yeah.
And I know it's lifted straight from the panels, but like,
yeah.
whew, the way they do it and the
Cinematically,
noise,
it was good.
the
Yeah.
fucking noise when she snaps, dude, is just so incredible. And it's sad to me. That movie has problems,
Yeah.
but it's sad to me that he didn't get a better shake at that with a third movie. You know, and hopefully, there's been talk with the popularity around this movie that maybe he will now. Maybe he's the Spider-Man from Morbius's universe. Maybe he's the Spider-Man from Venom's universe. I don't know, but I'd like to see him get another try because I think while that movie had some problems and the first movie had some problems, I don't think. Basically, Marvel said, "Hey, we want a different Spider-Man now, so he can be in our movies," and
Yeah.
that Andrew Garfield can get a fair shake.
Yeah. It's definitely unfortunate. And I always liked the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But yeah, I would be fine with that happening. I don't think it will, but also I don't know, like how many different Spider-Men can you have like having concurrent movies coming out? You know what I mean? Like
I mean, they do it with
there's-
comics all the time.
right with the comics, yeah. But I'm talking like full on like full budget movies. Like you already have like Into the Spider-Verse and all that type of stuff. Then you have Tom Holland's, who I feel like he's had his movies come out very like yearly, like boom, 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 back to back to back with his movies. At least that's how it feels to me.
Yeah, they're not quite.
it feels
yearly, but I
very
get what
it
you're
feels
saying.
very saturated.
Well. Take like Doctor Strange for example. He's just now getting the sequel. That movie
Exactly.
came out.
He's had fucking 3 in the same amount of
Right,
time,
right.
like in less. So,
The worst scene in the movie, Jason. What is the worst scene in the movie?
whew.
My nomination, and I'll just say it right now, is when he's talking to the fucking faculty at the school. I hate that scene.
It's a pretty weak scene.
I think those actors or comedians or whatever you want to call them are better than that.
they literally have like a 30-second scene.
I just think it was so bad. It's not good.
I don't
Not a
think
big
the
fan.
scene was even like needed at all.
No, it's because
Then it immediately cuts to, okay, the day is done and we're on the roof
right. Exactly.
for some reason.
Exactly. I don't think it was necessary. I think it's a bad scene.
Yeah. I would say the worst scene for me, and mainly because it's like I just want to know more about it, I guess. And I feel like it's just kind of poorly done. Like I think they could have done it a bunch of different ways. Is when he goes into the sanctum, and there's like the snow, and there's the two people who are not saying a single word
And doing the worst shoveling of all time.
yeah.
They're collecting the
It's not
tiniest bit of-
funny, nor is it like, oh, they're people. Like, if it was like people who were like clearly from like the fucking mountains or whatever, where the fucking snow came in from.
Yeah, they're just like interns or something.
They're just like fucking random interns. And then I like the world building of knowing that, like, okay, he's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore, Wong is. But like, it definitely just feels like, I don't know. I just don't like the.
There's tension there that we don't understand.
Yeah, and I feel like it needed to be.
I think we're gonna find out more in the next movie.
Yeah,
And I think, originally, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I think Multiverse of Madness was originally supposed to come out before Spider-Man No Way Home.
I think so.
So I think
Yeah, because I remember it was supposed to be multiverse or WandaVision straight into Multiverse of Madness.
Right. And so
So that's
think,
why people thought it was going to be huge. In
I think maybe
WandaVision.
originally when they wrote that, we would have some more context. And then
Yeah.
they probably wrote some one-off lines to try and not necessarily explain it, but
Just fill it in.
Just fill it in and make it like so it wasn't too like discombobulating for the viewer.
Yeah.
So no,
Also-
I agree with that.
The whole premise of it is stupid as fuck. Like, okay, he didn't cast a maintenance spell, so the snow came in, and then he just lights a fire with the wave of his
Right,
hand.
yeah,
like he couldn't clear all the snow. With the
I was
wave of his
thinking that
hand.
too. Like
What
why
the
didn't they just make it warmer
fuck?
in
Poor
there?
interns.
Right. Yeah.
The
It's
These poor mute
and there's some tension
interns.
between him and Wong that we don't. Wong, compared to his previous appearance in Shang-Chi, is a lot more rude and short,
Seems grizzled.
and upset about things, and he's constantly moving, and he just seems not happy. Where in Shang-Chi, he's singing karaoke with Shang-Chi and
Right.
and Aquafina.
Yeah. The only thing and I was thinking about this as well during the scene, obviously in the trailer for the new movie, the new Doctor Strange movie, there's like evil Doctor Strange is what it looks like, right? And him saying like the biggest threat to the multiverse is Doctor Strange,
Right.
or like
Things got out of hand. is what he says.
our Doctor Strange, right? And the only thing I can really think of is that maybe Wong knows something where, like, maybe he's misinterpreting some type of like, I don't know, because it's not like he has the time stone to be like
Right.
doing some type of ritual or something, but maybe he's seeing some signs where he's like something's up with Strange, or maybe for some reason. Maybe he's seen Strange or somebody who he thought was Doctor Strange, but it's the evil Doctor Strange do something,
Mhm.
or I don't know. Like maybe there's something there, but I don't like. It makes me not like that scene
For sure.
because I don't
We
really.
need more info.
I don't think that there's really, besides the scene that you said, I don't think there is any other bad scenes.
No, I like all the scenes. Otherwise, I can't think of one where I'm like, this sucks. Even some of the stuff where they're working on the cure for the villains, the different cures is like a little plotting, but it's still good. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like they probably could have shaved some seconds off of that in the movie, but it still was fine.
I think it needed it too.
yeah.
The movie needed to slow down a little bit.
Right. I agree. But yeah, no, I those are the only two. Like, I agree with you. I don't think it makes it bad, but I get wanting that more information. And then the scene I said I just fucking hate.
Yeah, it just makes me like be like, oh my god, like I
Just
don't.
tell us what's going on.
Right.
So this is one that I already know the answer to asking it, and this category is going to be a little more prevalent in future movies we cover. Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, is the main villain of this movie. We've agreed. Is he a good villain or is he a bad
He's a
villain?
fucking great villain. He's a god tier villain, dude. Like the scene that we were talking about, and our little sister kept saying it over and over, was in the apartment where the Spidey sense scene, and he webs his hand to the thing, and he's like, "That sense is a crazy trick," and he's like, "Osborn," and he's like, Osborn's on sabbatical, honey. Like
Yeah.
that shit is just like, oh
Yeah.
my god,
And
dude. He just flips a fucking switch and goes from just like this nice old man who's like, he's brilliant, and he's like, wow, like I want to offer you a job,
Right.
and I was like,
Well, and I didn't notice this on first watch, but Sean pointed this out to me, and then I definitely paid attention in the second time watching it. But I was under the impression that he was just fooling everybody the whole time. But he clearly is just suffering from having two personalities. because
yeah,
There's he gets very nice, and then there's a point where Octavius says to him, "Norman, you're gonna be whole.
no darker half.
No darker half, just you." And he goes, "Just me."
Yeah,
like
his
that.
voice
And
clearly
you're like-
changes.
You're like, oh no. And so like I was paying closer attention on the second watch. I was way more impressed with that.
yeah.
And yeah, just the physicality of him fighting, how evil he fucking is, dude.
Also, the first time watching that apartment scene, I was like, I don't know who it's gonna be. I literally was like, it could be the Inhibitor, it could be fucking like Sandman wants to get the fuck out.
Right.
It could be Dr. Connors because he's not there.
Right.
Like all this shit. It could even be that like, the police are coming in because you already
Or
know at that point.
It could be Dane DeHaan's Harry Osborn, dude.
Oh my god! Look at at that point, I guess
You didn't know. It
first
could've been
time
anything.
watching, there
Yeah.
could be another fucking villain there,
Right.
right? Or fucking Venom, like all this
Right,
shit, right?
right.
The first time, I didn't even notice Willem Dafoe, like his character, like everyone is like looking at each other and everyone seems on edge. Willem Dafoe's character is like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then like it's cutting to each person like pretty rapidly, and you see Willem Dafoe's like character just starts walking towards the window, and then that's when he like webs his hand. I feel like he had some shit, like he did some shit to that robot. I feel like because earlier in the scene, he's like toying around with it. And while he's like working on the other people and stuff like that,
Like the robot was gonna explode or
like
something.
yeah, he had rigged it to explode or some shit.
Sidebar: Why does Electro ask him if they're his Legos?
It's just a joke.
Well, like like,
or maybe he likes Legos.
He goes, "Can I ask you a question? Like it's gonna be some serious thing
Yeah.
about like Electro's character."
Are
He
these your
goes,
Legos?
Are those your Legos? And then he's just like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And so,
I just think it's a throwaway thing.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of things. Like
right.
obviously, like his character is very nerdy.
Yeah.
So it could be that. It could be like you just put something on my chest that's sucking the life force out of me right now, and you're playing with Legos.
What's the deal with these Legos?
Like you're playing with Legos.
Can I build the Death Star?
Or he's like, yeah, can I finish this for you, bro?
But yeah, back to Willem Dafoe. Everything he does is just brilliant. As the scene where he's holding Peter's head with Aunt May standing there.
Yeah.
And he's like, May, run, please, please. And he's like, this is all you did this, like yelling at May. And then when he knows he's getting to Peter later on, and he's like, I did the deed, but you're the one who killed her. He's just such a shit-eating villain. He has the blade come out of his arm, and he like whistles, like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna stab you with this fucking thing." Just like everything about him, he's so good. And even when he's just like Norman Osborn, he's great.
Yeah.
Like when he's like,
he's really good at playing a victim.
When he's doing the confused old man bit, which it's not a bit, right?
He's stealing the fucking donuts.
The donuts, dude. He's just like a homeless man. He's literally just like pocketing donuts as they're talking. Like it's so funny. Like just and I'm so glad that he got to come back and do this character again.
Yeah.
Because I think he knew this would probably be the last time he'd ever do it, which he did the first time, but having that perspective on it and going, I'm just gonna fucking go wild with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not very many actors get to do that. You know?
Well, and
we had a couple in this movie that got
it just is perfect as well. It's not like he's trying to change the character fundamentally.
Right.
He's doing his own version of it to the point where it's like that is Green Goblin to a lot of people. Like he is Green Goblin to a lot of people because like comic book versions of Green Goblin and like animated versions of Green Goblin, he's like actually like a goblin looking, like he kind of looks like a scroll almost, right?
Yeah.
Like he's got like the dimensions of him. He kind of looks like an elf almost, and like the mask that he has, right? But that's his actual fucking physical body.
Right.
Where it's like he just makes it so fucking like you don't even need to be like a fucking weird goblin looking thing to just be a fucking like menacing dude. Just so deranged. And when he's getting punched in the face over and over by Spider-Man and he's just looking up at him laughing and shit, dude, it's some
so
next
good.
level shit.
So good, man.
It reminds me of like some like Joker qualities, but it's on like another level.
It is.
Because he's physically so fucking strong.
I mean, to me, like, if you didn't think Green Goblin as the like premier Spider-Man villain before this, I think you have to now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know there's Venom and Doc Ock, and
there's a lot of big
Spider-Man
ones,
has a lot of really good villains. He's similar to Batman in that way. But in the way that Joker is like the premier Batman villain, I think you got to think of Green Goblin as the premier Spider-Man villain, dude. You just have to now. William Dafoe is put on two different, and the
to me it's like Green Goblin at the top, and then right under it, not even that far, is Doc Ock.
Right.
Because especially even like in the video games, right?
Right.
Like Doc Ock is done really well in multiple of the different Spider-Man games.
Yeah, definitely.
But specifically that one as well.
Definitely.
I think they're both really well done, both humanized, and the
then
redemption arc for Doc Ock is so good, too.
Right before Doc Ock is Carnage mixed with Doc Ock from the Spider-Man 64 video game.
Yeah.
That's the best villain, dude.
Shut the fuck up.
Doc Ock with the Carnage symbiote, dude. Best villain. Okay, so yeah, we just determined good villain.
Yes, good villain. Great
when we
villain.
reach other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, I think we are going to determine
it's
a
good.
lot of
It's
bad
gonna be.
villains.
It might be. Yeah. There's gonna be some. There's more like. good things and bad things about other villains. Whereas I feel like there's not really anything I can say about Willems where it's like
It's pitch perfect, man.
yeah,
It just
feels
nails it.
really good. It's refined.
It's sophisticated.
But yeah, it also feels like whereas Doc Ock feels like he came straight from his fight with Spider-Man, like Norman, he was like going around like trying to figure out where his son is. Like he's been on his own for like a few days, it feels like, right?
Yeah,
And he's just like this old man, and he's like, I don't know, like not only do I not know where I am, I'm in a different universe, but like there's like I'm having problems with like fucking schizophrenia type stuff, like multiple like split personality shit. Like I don't feel like I'm even in control of my own self, and I'm in a different universe. Where the fuck's my son? You're not Peter Parker. Like it definitely feels like he's more along.
Yeah,
like it's been longer a little bit,
right? Which I don't think it has. I think it's probably right before the moment.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely
before the Godspeed Spider-Man. But he got to walk around and be like a normal person for a little bit. The only thing I regret about the performance is that they didn't do a mirror segment. Like
True.
They did the helmet. He talks to the helmet.
They didn't do like a fucking Gollum Smeagol
They didn't do
type
the mirror thing where he's looking in the mirror and he's like, you have to kill Spider-Man.
You're
right?
a spineless worm, like
right. Right. Your own son doesn't even respect you, you know. And then that he didn't say Godspeed Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things.
I guess those are my only regrets.
So, good villain. Final
Also, he wasn't like sharpening a knife type deal. Like maybe if May had made all the villains some food, like she got him some water, right?
Oh, dude,
but
she has to smack his hand.
Yeah,
and he licks it, dude. Yeah, you're right.
They could have done like a different version of that scene. It would have been funny.
But then they would have to like CGI the lizard inside the building, and they clearly were not willing to do that.
Yeah.
But last category we're gonna go over is who's the MVP of the movie, Jason?
Tom Holland.
I think so too. I think you got to give it to Tommy,
dude. And I was thinking about this literally while watching, like during the Aunt May scene. I was like, dude, why is Tom Holland's crying some of the best? Period, dude.
Yeah.
Like same thing as like in Infinity War. He's like, I don't feel so good, and also in Endgame where he's fucking Tony's dying and he's there. Like his like crying, or like even right before when he's like really hurt. He's like fucking hyperventilating almost because he's just so in so much pain, and then also he's trying to make sure May's fine and all this stuff. He's just fucking killer, dude.
Yeah. And I read some stuff about him fighting behind the scenes for certain things to be in the movie, and I mean, we didn't talk about this, but this movie almost didn't get made.
Yeah.
Sony and Marvel dissolved their partnership on this, and Sony was just gonna make their own Spider-Man movies, and Tom Holland, based on fan outcry, went to bat for us and said, "Hey, no, we need to keep making these movies." And now they have a much better working relationship, and Tom Holland had a big part to do with that. So even outside of the movie, he's the MVP.
Yeah, he's the MVP for sure.
Shout out to Tommy,
bringing in some fucking PS4 moves, and
he's a bit British.
He's a Brit.
So was Andrew Garfield. They're all British.
I seen one outtake where he says something to Ned, and it sounded like he slipped into
his British accent,
and they just all flamed him. Like Ned and Zendaya, like everybody just started flaming. That was good.
So, Jason, we've talked about this movie. We could talk about this movie for another hour.
Yeah.
But where are we putting it on the list? Are we keeping it in S tier?
Yeah. It's number 1 right now.
It's number 1. It's the only one on the list. We're leaving it in S tier.
S tier.
When we get to Endgame or maybe some other movies, maybe we'll see if it gets dethroned as the top of S tier. But right now, this is the S tier Marvel movie. It's the only one we've done.
I'm excited to do more of these.
Yeah, I'm excited to do more. Next time, what movie are we doing?
Are we going back to the very first movie?
We're going back to Iron Man.
The OG.
Man.
Yeah,
starring Robert Downey Jr. and Jeff Bridges.
I've seen that one somewhat recently.
Jeff Bridges? Jeff Daniels. Which Jeff is it?
I don't know, dude.
He's the guy from DDD that puts his arms out. Okay.
Bridges.
Then yeah, it's Bridges.
I'm guessing it's Bridges.
I think it's Bridges. It's Bridges. It's Bridges? It's Bridges.
Bridges. Smile.
That's a bridge too far. yeah, so we're gonna tackle Iron Man next. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We want to know what you think of Spider-Man. But yeah, so that's. I hope you guys like this. We're gonna keep doing this till we get through all these movies at least, and Iron Man's next. So I hope you guys will please look forward to it. Like we said before, there's not gonna be like a. We're gonna have a few of these released right away to launch with the Patreon, but I don't know what the cadence is gonna be for releasing these. But
Yeah.
we're gonna do our best to have them be
Well,
pretty.
and
pretty
thankfully, a lot of them are on Disney Plus, and
Yeah.
they have the watch party feature. So even once Mike's moved out, it'll still be really easy to
It'll
watch
still
them
be
together.
easy for us to do it. Yep. So we're planning on doing that, and we thank you guys, all of you guys, for subscribing to us on Patreon.
Yeah.
That we're planning on keeping this Patreon exclusive for a very long time, and even if we end up releasing older episodes on YouTube or something, the
Yeah.
newer episodes will always come to Patreon first and be exclusive. And so,
Yeah.
we appreciate you guys, being here and listening and giving supporting the show. I was gonna say giving us money, but that sounds unprofessional. Supporting the show and all the other shows we
Yeah.
do.
100%.
We really appreciate you guys.
If there's
And-
anything that like you feel like would be a good segment,
Yep.
or if
Let
there
us
was
know.
any dog shit segments, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know. And if you disagree with us or whatever, let us know. That's fine. But we saw all these rankings out there, and we decided, you know what, fine, I'll do it myself.
I'll do it myself.
I'll do it myself. But thank you for listening. We will see you guys next time for Iron Man. Jason hit him with a no wait, shit. What do we do?
What did we do last time?
I think we just said bye.
Fuck off.
Just tell people to fuck off no matter what the show
Oh
is.
no, I said Excelsior.
That's right, because we couldn't. We
Now
did the
fuck
same
off.
thing last time, and then you said Excelsior. Oh boy. All right, Jason. So the post-credit scene, the mid-credit scene, I guess, with Venom. What are your thoughts on this?
Dog shit.
Here's the thing. This is nonsense.
It's
Here-
not even funny,
here's
and it
why.
makes no sense.
Here's why. It's nonsense. When Venom 2 came out, they were like, they did this ad campaign where they were like, yo, you have to go see Venom 2 for the post-credits.
Yeah.
Then the movie, fuck the movie. You gotta go see Venom 2 for
Right.
the post-credits, right?
Although I enjoyed the movie.
I thought the movie was fine, but they were telling us, fuck the movie. You
Pretty
gotta
much.
go see the post-credit scene. So I watched this movie. I go, this movie was all right.
Yeah.
It was fine. I think Woody Harrelson's a fucking ham, dude. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He's
Yeah.
whatever.
He's good.
It's pretty out there. So then you watch post credits, and it does this thing where they flash of light happens, and Venom licks the fucking TV when he sees Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. He's like, I know
And-
this one.
Theoretically, Tom Hardy and Venom ended up in that universe when the spell went awry,
Right.
right? So then,
Because the symbiote knows who Peter Parker is
Right,
in the multiverse.
right, which we didn't talk about earlier.
type thing.
We didn't talk about Electro not knowing who Peter Parker is either, because that's kind of bullshit too. But anyway,
Yeah.
So
I give it a pass.
this whole time, Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, has just been sitting at a bar in Mexico, fucking just drinking
for
and
for an entire like 2 days
and
at least.
having the bartender explain to him all the superhero shit. He's got a napkin and he's scribbling it down, and he's just so, this is so unbelievable to him. For some reason, Eddie Brock doesn't.
Right. He
doesn't
just
get
fought
it.
a chick who has like screaming powers,
Right.
and a red symbiote, like made from his symbiote and his blood.
Right.
Like,
No.
how is this so crazy?
Right. So, and then as he's about to get up and get crazy and go skinny dipping, he snaps back into his own reality. And a tiny bit of venom was left there. So, basically, what Sony is telling me is, yo, come see this movie for the post-credit scene, which turned out to be fucking nothing.
Which turned out to be another post-credit scene, which turned to be pretty much nothing.
Right. Like, oh, there's gonna be a symbiote in Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. No shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
You didn't have to bring that Eddie Brock in for there to be a symbiote. You could have literally just said, hey, there's a symbiote here. And I'd be like, that makes sense.
So we're still
Is there 2 symbiotes?
we're still very confused about what the universe is where Venom is or Morbius is, or we don't know. This Sony shit is still not making sense. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens when Morbius comes out, if they shed a little more light on what the fuck's going on here. But we do know that Venom is not in the same
Not Tom Hardy's Venom.
Tom Hardy's Venom. So I guess we figured that out. And then the post-credit scene was just a trailer for Doctor Strange.
Which I didn't really like.
I think it's fine.
I don't like trailers as the post-credit scene.
I don't either, but
Like,
it's better than like,
just
do
make
you
it.
remember the interns that were shoveling? They finally got done, but then Wong opened another portal and a bunch of water came in. Wah, wah, wah.
Dude, no.
'Cause
Okay.
that's the kind of post-credit scene we were going to get.
No, I'm saying that I don't like a trailer. Like,
I get it.
make it more fucking cryptic. You could have literally the same thing. Like, have it where Doctor Strange like opens a fucking portal or whatever. You could literally have it be like false information type shit where
Mhm.
that's not actually how it happens, but just in some way show that there's like an evil Doctor Strange, dude.
Yeah.
And then have it be more fleshed out in the trailer.
Or
I don't like sitting like
Doctor Strange sits down in his library and he has a drink and he's like, fuck, I don't know what just happened, but man, that was crazy. Because does he know what just happened?
Yeah.
No, but he
No.
knows he's tired and he knows he's had a long week, right? And then Wong comes in and goes, man, we really need to figure out what's going on in the multiverse. And he goes, yeah, you're right, brother. And then that's
Like, literally, I just don't like. I like it more cryptic, dude. What can I say, dude? I'm a fucking Kingdom Hearts
No.
fan. I like the fucking post-credit scenes where you're like, yo, I have so many more fucking questions than I have answers, right? In a good way. Whereas it's like, okay, here's the fucking trailer. Oh my
yeah,
god.
no, and I get it. I get a trailer's not ideal.
This is literally posted on fucking YouTube.
A trailer's not ideal, but the problem is a lot of the mid-credit scene is usually the good one.
Yeah.
And the post-credit scene is,
The meme one.
oh, LOL, Thor the Dark World, the animal that got transported to this planet is running around chasing birds. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's the problem with these post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the fucking Rogers the Musical.
Patience.
What?
You don't remember the Patience one, dude?
What one was that?
The fucking Spider-Man Far From Home one. Where it's one of those Captain America like VHSs.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know that as, so, you ended up in
Oh,
detention.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's how I think of that. I don't remember exactly what he says in that.
I might be misremembering. I don't know.
So, I don't know. I'm fine with the trailer if they didn't have anything else, I guess. Instead of, like, just, some stupid, Flash Thompson's book is a bestseller.
Yeah,
You know?
I hate Flash Thompson. Like, period.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
Not a fan of him in any of the movies.
Yeah.
I think the actor's fine, but like, I just don't like the Flash Thompson character.
Yeah.
I hope
I
they
liked
don't-
him better in the original Spider-Man.
I hope when he's
when
just
he
like a
punched
one-off.
Kirsten Dunst. Anyway, that's it. See ya. That's
a-
our post-credit scene.
What a real man.